playing still alive.
I'm still. It's not actually streaming to Twitch, which is weird.
Yeah, Twitch has been having some serious issues.
There it goes. It's had a delay.
Yeah, well, their back end is kind of overwhelmed, and AWS is expanding exponentially right now.
There,
I think
now I have blinky lights too.
Like your background is blurred
I
out.
might want to put my phone on silent mode.
I keep threatening to send Jim one of my Altairs.
Hi, Pris.
Oh, there you
Probably like that.
Actually, I keep threatening to order him one that's in a kit form, so he has to put it together.
You're gonna order me a kit. Don't make it an Altair. You send me what I want. You know what I want.
You want that PDP-11.
I want that PDP-11 so bad.
Well, at least you got good choice in old school mainframes. PDP-11 was a glorious machine.
Not only was it glorious, it looked absolutely plumb crazy, baby.
Oh yeah. I mean, I think that was the first mainframe I ever touched. Was an actual still in use PDP-11 when I was like 5.
Nope.
Of course, I got quickly told, no, don't touch that. It's like
Unstable.
Okay.
How much? Why does it say? Okay, so it is saying I'm dropping frames.
You are.
Okay, I've got to turn it back down to where I had it. Let's go back. Because obviously the same settings that work for Judd do not work for me.
We might kick it down from 6,000 to 5,000. Twitch doesn't like, I think, higher than 4,000. I know there's a set limit that Twitch will allow. You can go above that, but it's not recommended.
There we go. Hopefully that fixed it. It's still not. Okay, hold on.
Your video is interesting, Jim.
What was that?
Oh, it's very stylized. I'm assuming you did that on purpose.
I put the light in the background and turned my room light off.
Oh, so your camera is having a really hard time. You look. I mean, it looks like an intentional MTV style effect, but I like it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
yeah,
I
that's
figured
like
it looked like I was in candlelight. I'm being lit by my monitor panel over here. One of them is almost pure white.
This is just by the monitor.
Like I told Bunny earlier, I don't put much time into setting up. Monitor's on. It'll light me. Oh, Adria, I'm so sorry. Oh, baby. Oh, you just went all to pieces on me, honey.
Did you blow her away
Oh,
again?
God, she's all over, man. She's over.
Okay, so, Tom, how does everything look? Oh, no, I turned it off. That's why. Never mind. Hold on.
Yeah,
let's try
I
that
also
again.
made the mistake of buying Animal Crossing.
Pull up your Twitch stream. Give me a second until
I
Bunny's
don't
videos,
have
talk
a
shows,
Switch.
and podcast. You are
Trying to go live again because I changed the encoder setting.
right. Yeah, you were there for a split second and then it disappeared when I
Yep,
logged
it
in.
should be coming back up.
Good Lord, I'm getting blown up over
Cannot
here.
access the channel or stream key.
Uh-oh.
Okay, try that again.
Turn that off for a few minutes. I don't know where my stuff is. My phone, my iPad, nothing. I can't figure out where my bag is that my iPad goes in. I think my phone and my iPad are on the kitchen table. My temporary office. I don't know where the bag went. I know I had it last night because I brought it home. It's probably still in the car.
So, Brad, when are you going to play Diablo 3 again? Tom's being a major wussy and not wanting to play.
Right now, my time is
Okay, I think
being
that's
sucked up
actually.
by Animal Crossing.
Animal Crossing?
Yeah.
I'm
I
still
bought it.
dropping a shit ton of.
Probably enjoy
Friends.
playing with my kid. She's loving that Animal Crossing game.
Honestly, it's a good little basic kind of like grindy game. It's really chill. Like, but dear lord, it checks all the boxes for like, must go do this, do this, do this, do this. Just one more event, just one more miles, just one more miles, just one more. Oh dear
Yeah.
God. The real time thing is bugging me though. Like, everything's
Real
in real
time?
time.
Oh.
Yeah, the daylight cycle, everything is real time. So certain stuff you want to catch is only available for that month during that period of time. So it's trippy,
Okay,
but
so I should actually be connected to the server again. But it's still saying that I'm dropping like 64.2%.
You look pretty good here. You drop one every now and then, but nothing like 62%.
yeah,
Yeah.
no, you're looking fine.
Yeah, that's
Uh,
to you
this-
guys.
Oh, to Twitch.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cutting
You're
in and
probably
out.
way overloaded.
Yeah, no,
So
they're
you guys
uploading
have got
the-
like what, 2 or 3 long pieces of string between a couple of cans over there in Arkansas?
No, we actually have decent. I've got the same speed as Tom. It's just the computer I'm using. Like I said, I'm building a new computer.
Oh, you haven't finished that yet. I
No.
thought you were done with it.
Oh.
I don't know what it is. Twitch keeps pausing and then starting back up.
Yeah,
they're
I
massively
just
overloaded.
stopped. Yeah, I just stopped so I can try to.
Yeah, I think you probably should focus on just recording it and then uploading it after the fact. If you're having that much trouble with upstream.
Yeah, probably.
I can't get much of a live crowd with that.
Yeah.
If you want to see if you can work the bugs out of it, we can always try tomorrow.
I can't do it tomorrow.
Or not.
Yeah. No, I've got like one night a week that I can do this.
Have you? I mean, you've got a bitrate limit, but what about a resolution limit? You cut it down to like
It
something like
won't let
720.
me change my video resolution. And it says output scaled resolution 1280 times 720. So
Have you? Okay, that's sucks.
What the fuck is he doing?
Bitrate limit, but what about a resolution limit?
Whoa, 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 Tex.
the thing is, the only thing that changes is the fact that the other person I live with is home and probably using the internet as well.
Hmm.
And I'm not sure if that's putting too much
Do they
weight
run
on
like
it.
do they run like BitTorrent or anything?
No, they're using consoles.
Yeah, that
Oh,
shouldn't be
okay.
sucking up that much upstream.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I'll try one more time, and if not, I'll just have to record. But this is one of the reasons why also moving to the other one that I was using. I wasn't having as many issues, and it's still turning red.
Well, I mean, if you drop the bitrate down to like 2500 and record and streamed at 720, you should have a lot fewer problems too. I mean, we do our stream at 2500 because that's all I can maintain with our cable at church. It's actually
Okay,
kind of
well,
annoying.
I'll turn it down to 2500. It was at 3000, so. And then
You'll want to set your resolution to 720p though too.
the screen resolution, because I can't change the resolution in OBS. It's not letting me.
Well, that's odd.
It's basically blocked out.
Oh, probably because you're streaming right now. Are you trying to stream right now, or are you recording right now?
No, I turn it off when I go to change the settings.
Huh.
Yeah, so I go to files, I hit settings, I go down to video, and it says base canvas resolution, 1920 by 1080. Output,
Right.
scaled resolution, and all of this is blacked out. Video output is currently active. Please turn out any outputs to change video settings.
Oh,
So I
so
guess I
yeah,
have to turn all
you're
of you guys off.
or you're either recording or you're streaming if you got the output
Nope.
active.
I'm telling you, it's not. I'm not doing it either. So let's see. I'm just gonna turn all this off. File. It's Skype. That's where I'm active.
Huh.
I'm betting that's what it is. That's the difference between like this and any of my other streams is the fact that we're using Skype. Let's see. Hey,
Yeah.
that's output. That's video. Yeah, hold on. Let me leave the call. I gotta turn my other monitor back on.
Okie dokie.
Come on. Come on. Come on. There we go. I turned off 2 of the monitors to try to help. Okay, I'll be right back.
Hey, what you doing?
So do I look like a do I look like a race car yet with all the? I need another thing here to advertise.
You're getting there. You're getting there.
Oh, PTZ Optics.
PD what?
PTZ
Oh.
Optics.
Oh, one of those fancy cameras.
Yeah. With my keyboard.
Come on. Honey,
Somebody's showing off
could
his
you
car.
think you could maybe get your ass over there? There you go, Fuzzy Britches. Good boy.
God, I'm freaking
What's
tired
the
of
matter with you?
it.
Meow. That's what.
What is the matter?
Meow.
What's the matter?
I need to get a haircut, but hey, I don't think anybody's open.
You're okay.
Dude, I am
Probably
seriously.
not.
I am certain tomorrow. I am gonna put a towel down in the bathroom and just put my
Buzz.
clippers on the number 2 thing and just.
Give yourself a number 2 cut.
Yeah, I'm gonna give myself a number 2 cut. Oops.
Buzz, buzz. All right.
So I need to make another scene. I need to add the PTZ to that.
For anybody that's watching my own stream, sorry, it's technical difficulties. We'll get this figured out.
Eventually, there.
People actually watching this?
Oh,
Yes.
there's 2
All
viewers.
one.
No,
I
no, I'm
wondered
gonna
which
get
one's a
stage
bot.
fright.
Which one's a bot? Which one's a bot? That's my only question.
Okay.
Maybe they're both.
It
There we
might
go.
be-
Now,
might be me 'cause
now I
got
look like a
open
race
looking
car
at it.
sponsor. What do you
Okay.
mean?
And then if I just turn off that monitor. So I changed the resolution down on the
That's-
monitor that I'm using. And I
That's
turned the
okay.
other 2 off. Because it's not letting me change the resolution through OBS.
Thank you, honey.
So let's see what it says in my settings now. It might still be taking the video settings that I have. Okay. I need to turn, just gonna turn all of them to the lowest setting I can. Which is gonna really look really fucked up on my like ginormous screen here. Go all the way down. We're gonna turn this one down to their requested settings. So keep changes. Turn that one down too. Yep. It's so confused. It's like, This is not optimized. You're not allowed to be optimized. Okay, keep changes. Okay. Let's exit that and then we'll restart it. It's the best way to do it. No, you don't need your pop-up. Skype needs to not do its little pop-up shit. Okay.
Actually, reminds me, I gotta see about spinning up that Jitsi instance.
Don't go on that screen. I'm not using that screen. I'm using this screen.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So that looks the same. It is all super tiny. Okay, so settings. Video. It still says base canvas resolution is 1920 by 1080.
And it should be. What you want to lower is your scale, your resolution, which is your output.
Yeah, output scaled is locked at 1280 by 720.
Baby.
Oh, okay. Well, that's what it should be anyway. So
Yeah, that's what it's been.
Oh, okay. Well, then we were kind of
Output.
wasting time.
Yeah. Okay, we'll see. I've lowered this down, so maybe that'll take whatever. Okay.
No.
Okay, streaming started. And we've got green. That's good.
Green is good. Green means go.
Cool.
Make us go.
For now, we just gotta wait for Tom to sit there and be like, we're just sitting here biting our nails.
To make us go. Oh, let me look at your stream again.
We are.
Well, Twitch is doing fine right now.
So Buddy's gonna pose for us for half an hour. We're accepting donations. Right now, it doesn't show you as online. Oh, it just showed you coming online. There we go. Ah, I'm in the middle. I don't want to be in the middle.
Well, you're the one
Oh,
that's
yeah.
talking, so yeah, you are in the middle.
True. Oh, I see it. Footover's talking in the middle. Yeah, now it switched to you. Okay, looks good to me. It's fairly fluid.
No.
And I'm even doing what I'm supposed to do, which is put my feet up.
So who's rolling this intro?
Give me a second to tweet this out, and then I will.
Okay.
Okay, so let's
Like I
see
said,
if I can't work Twitter.
Like I said, I just want about 5 minutes to give people ideas for how to stay connected during.
Not surprised.
Yeah, during the event. We'll call it the event. That way, nobody gets decommissioned and demonetized and demonized.
A lot of it's been pretty fine.
Hey, you.
So have you noticed what that is, Judd? What's playing right now, Judd? Can you see it on my? Let me make it easier to see.
Altair?
Can you tell what that is?
Oh, nah, we couldn't tell what it is.
Tetris?
What's this
Yeah.
camera trying to do?
That is the Game Boy version of Tetris from my Mister. So earlier I had my Mister plugged into this. I was using a USB gamepad, and it was like the most complicated Game Boy ever. It had like 4 components set up on my desk, and then the output of that was going to a 27-inch monitor. So it's kind of cool to play Game Boy on a 27-inch screen. Original Pokemon looks really good on it too.
At that point, why not just a Super Game Boy?
I also have Game Boy Advanced and
The screen
It
that
is
size,
VA.
it's a super duper Game Boy.
yeah, it'll do a couple of different ones, but I wanted to focus on the recorder more than the game. I'm not quite sure where that's paused. I think I might have been playing.
Okay, so you guys ready to get this started? Oh, are you being a little attitude kitty? Trying to beat me
Not
up again?
started yet?
Well, I just put the tweet out. So, probably you're so angry.
Which
Yeah,
means
it's much
I
better
should
mannered than
probably
mine.
get
I'm trying to figure out what Tom's doing because we're seeing the top of his desk, I think.
Oh God, who knows?
The recorder seems to have
Well-
stopped doing its thing.
I'm pretty sure everybody's gonna screw around for a while. I'm gonna go have a cigarette.
Really?
I'm gonna go have something that burns and inhale it. You do whatever you want to do. I'll be back in a minute.
Okay, so Percy, you realize that if you wanted attention, this is the like worst way to get it, right? Yeah. Okay.
Nope.
Okay. So is everyone here other than Jim,
Other than Jim, yeah.
who's having a nicotine fit?
Yeah,
Apparently.
he's just going and having a cancer stick.
Okay, so
What is
good
going on with this
evening.
machine? I may have already broken it. Go ahead. Sorry.
Actually, funny comment. The avatar I have is set up as Spider Jerusalem. The cigarette he happens to be smoking is literally called a death stick in the comic book series.
Huh.
Or a carcinoma angel. I forget which one. It's absolutely hilarious, that series. It's like, go take some anti-cancer trait. All of my assistants smoke. You will start smoking 2 packs now. The woman's just like, I've never smoked in my life. What the hell did I just sign up for?
Mm.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Okay.
no, that series is all sorts of WTF.
So is it okay if I go ahead and introduce the podcast before we start having our chatter?
Why not?
By all means.
Thank you. So, good evening and hello, everybody. Welcome back to my channel, and I am here with our crew, what do we call ourselves nowadays?
I don't even know.
5 lonely nerds.
Random star nerds.
Random Star Nerds. So, we've got Random Squared.
Let's be a little more nebulous. Random sci-fi nerds. How's that?
And then we have Starfleet, what was the last name? The one, the Discord that we're in.
Oh,
The-
I go Starfleet Omega.
Starfleet
Starbase
Omega.
Starbase Omega, sorry.
Starbase. Yeah, sorry.
Starfleet
We've
is too
jumped.
franchise specific, and I'm trying to avoid
We've
the...
jumped names a couple of times, but so
Yeah.
Starbase Omega, with the YouTube channel of Judd over here, who is Random Squared, my YouTube channel and my Twitch, as you can obviously see under Intel Bunny, and then we have joining us as guests Brad
Hello.
and Jim and Tom, who one day I'm sure will be a superstar of his own channel.
Maybe.
And Tom's name will be interchangeable with TARDIS, Tom TARDIS, and
Yeah,
hey,
TARDIS.
you.
Hey,
depending on if we're trying to get his
hey,
attention.
big guy.
One guy over there. Yeah,
Oh.
you. Not you. You.
Yo, dude with the hair. I mentioned big guy, right? Nerd. And my dad used to say, just don't call me late for dinner.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So what all do you have up there? Because
So,
it's actually probably really tiny.
Yeah, they're really tiny, I'm sure. Actually, they're decent. So as you know, the event that's keeping us all home from work has not only had given a lot of people a lot more time to do things like streaming on Twitch, but a lot of us are working from home, and we're trying to stay connected with our coworkers. I also produce the live stream for my church, and I have never been busier. I'm down there 3 nights a week right now, plus going down during the days to help produce video announcements. And some of this stuff is stuff we actually use. Some of it's stuff that I bought, and some of it are things that I think would really help people that want to stay connected, but on a more professional level than just, hey, let's get a webcam and plug it into our computers. Nothing wrong with that. But so first item, I just discovered a couple of days ago, and I really like this little piece of gear. I've been playing around with it for a few days. This is it's called the ClearClick. I think it's the ClearClick HDMI recorder. And what this is it literally is like a VCR. but it has HDMI inputs. It's got a USB output for plugging into you can plug in a thumb drive or a portable hard drive. You can plug it directly into your computer and capture video in real time like a webcam. And over here we've got a single memory card socket. So I've got a 64 gig micro SD card in there right now. And with this, as you see, I plugged it into one of my video game consoles and just recorded a game of Tetris. And it's flawless. I mean, you can't really see the resolution on this little tiny screen, but it's amazing how good that little tiny screen looks. It's like iPad pixel resolution, or what do they call it, Retina resolution, but at like 3.5 inches. So people that stream and game could really use something like this because it does everything. You record straight to the device. You can stream out from it using your USB connection. And it's portable. Right now, it's running on batteries. So this is a really handy tool. Also for people that, like in our situation, I want a backup recorder. So we're streaming out to the internet, but we're also recording the video straight to the machine's this machine's storage. So we can then have a separate copy in case something goes wrong. So that's the first thing. The second thing, I've been playing around with for a while now. I've been a fan of a company called Blackmagic Design. Blackmagic Design produces professional video hardware. They make cameras. They sell $10,000 cameras. They also sell a line of fairly budget-priced production gear. This is a switcher called the ATEM Mini, and they just released a new version of this today. They just announced it today.
And by the way, this is by no means sponsored by any of the products companies or anyone else Tom is talking about. I'm just going to pop that in there.
We have received no consideration for these suggestions. So the ATEM or the ATEM is Blackmagic's video production switchers. In other words, this is meant for producing live television. This one here takes four HDMI inputs. You can output to your HDMI monitor for your preview monitor, and you can also output to a computer. Again, it acts like a webcam. But the cool thing about the new version of this is it also has an output that gives you direct Ethernet output to a streaming network. You can push out to YouTube, you can push out to Facebook Live, or you can push out to one of the aggregating services that will then stream to multiple networks at the same time. Relatively speaking, this guy's inexpensive. The Pro is like $600, and the non-Pro version of the Mini I think is around $300. But for what you get in this, having all your switching, your encoding, every one of these inputs can be at different resolution and frame rate, which is kind of unheard of in this market segment. Honestly, if you want to do professional-looking video, this is an entire production studio in one box. You can do chroma keys, you can do overlays, everything with this. Ironically, I'm not using this right now for me. I'm actually using OBS, but my ATEM box, I actually have one here, but it's not set up right now, so I don't have the right adapter for the output. And the other thing I wanted to mention, something that you can use both at home and your offices, and if you're doing like I am, if you're doing what they call house of worship production, this company here, PTZ Optics, makes remote controlled cameras. They're called PTZ cameras for pan, tilt, and zoom. So the camera actually can be remote controlled to move around. And again, PTZ Optics is kind of, I don't want to use the word revolutionary, but they're a really good camera in that relatively low end segment where you need something for a couple $1,000s and you don't want to spend the price of a small car to get your office, your church, whatever, up and running. Again, this camera here can stream straight to YouTube. You can plug an audio source in the back, in the line-in jack back here, and go straight to YouTube. Go straight to Facebook Live. Just literally turn the camera on, log into the web interface, push go, and you're streaming. I mean, you can't get any easier than that. Well, I suppose you could, but that would be paying someone else to do it for you. So that's all I got. Again, this is the staying at home event. advice from me.
Yeah.
And let's turn all this stuff off now because I'm sure it's really annoying to have these things going at the top.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Yeah, no,
So-
my school's actually started using Blackmagic Design in our television production studio.
Nice.
It's good stuff, and the prices. I mean, like I said, it's they range. Their stuff ranges from a couple of $100 to you could buy a used car. You could buy a new car for what some of their equipment costs, but it's good equipment, and the price range on the market. I mean, you could buy Sony stuff and you could buy Roland stuff, but why would you spend like 4 times as much?
Yeah, the big thing that brought them into my school is actually DaVinci. Since they're offering pro-level tools with minimal plug-in features for free, it kind of got the attention of a lot of students because that's not normally something you get.
Oh, the DaVinci Resolve software. Yeah, I need to play around with more with that because I do a lot of video editing, and I would love to have something that I can get off of Final Cut Pro on the Mac because I'm tired of using that 27-inch iMac. Once I get the ATEM Mini into my system, that's going to be my capture box, and the Mac is done for. There's no point to having it anymore.
So long, farewell.
Hasta la vista. And I mentioned earlier to Bunny that it was that ATEM box is $600, but that iMac we're using for encoding and streaming and recording and editing was $3,000 to get an iMac with an i7 processor in it. So I mean, 1/10 the price to live stream. It's kind of no contest.
Well, general purpose versus specific.
Yep.
And with that, we have an awkward silence.
Now it's
Say
cat
something
show
about
and tell
that.
time, Jim.
Meow.
My cat has actually settled down. I'm not interrupting her because she's been in a mood all day.
It's okay.
It's been
Oh,
raining.
camera shy.
Meow.
It's amazing. That cat, when Jim first got that cat, he
Sit
did
down.
not want to be picked up, did not want to be touched. And now look at him.
She
He's like,
yeah. My cat though, she wants to sit on me but not be touched. But then again, she also wants to like rub her face on my hand. But if I actively pet her or scratch behind her ear, she gets pissy. She's just been in a mood all day. She's like passed out in the chair now. I'm just like, nope, not touching her.
Like, yeah, I'm good. I'm not
Okay.
tempting that.
Yeah. So on the event that's currently going on, that has a lot of us homebound.
Vent.
Yeah, that is the code word that we were using. So people who are sensitive about the subject or certain medias that are sensitive about the subject don't punish us for it.
All going to Chicago.
I've heard human malware, BAP, beer flu, a few others.
Beer flu. Just, oh dear lord.
Yeah.
just please don't call it any of the names that are associated
official
with
names,
China
yeah.
that I've heard, because people are calling it like the Chinese virus and stuff, and
Yeah,
that,
the
a lot of
president
people are finding that really
himself
offensive.
used a very racist term to describe what's going on.
man. Come on. The Chinese virus, that's not offensive. You want me to be
Yeah.
offensive?
Well, no, that's kind of my point, though. I don't personally. It's like, okay, you're just describing where it came from, but there are people out there that are getting really offended by that, and I'm just like, hey, if you have a problem with that, I'm certainly not gonna. I mean, I'm not gonna be pushy about it.
I don't want it in my stream.
Yeah.
I did have a wonderful friend my first year of college who was a Chinese foreign exchange student, and he is like a brother to me. And he has had people spray him down with stuff and attack him.
Jeez.
So it is extremely racist. He is
Yeah.
doing his graduate studies here in the United States, and it absolutely breaks my heart.
I heard
Yeah,
that
that's-
people were
he's a
attacking
wonderful person.
doctors.
Yeah, and well,
They're
what happened-
attacking people based on what they look like because of fear and hate
Oh,
mongering.
yeah, I mean, I heard today one of the people I listened to was saying that people that were wearing scrubs into the grocery store were getting shouted at in the store and, harassed in parking lots.
Yeah, and it's absolutely ridiculous. It
Why
is.
would you be harassing people that are literally the front line of prevention?
Because they're afraid, just like when he said.
Yeah, they're afraid and ignorant, and people act out of in fear and ignorance. They do stupid things. I mean, you remember the anti-East Middle Easterner hate during Desert Storm and the previous Iraqi incursion. I can't remember what the first Bush called that.
Desert
Or was
Storm.
it the second? Was it Desert Storm? Then what was the second one where Bush Jr. went back?
Persian Gulf crisis.
Operation Iraqi Freedom, I think it was.
Whatever it was. Yeah, both times.
Well, what
I
about
mean-
the Persian Gulf crisis in the 90s?
Yeah, I mean, if people would. I wasn't. I don't. Yeah, the Desert Storm, I think, was what we called it when we went in and freed Kuwait.
Well, Desert Shield was going in and just being there for Kuwait, and then when we decided to invade Iraq, it was Desert Storm.
Yeah, and that's right. But it was like, I mean, the whole point is like Middle Easterners were being attacked, they were being beaten, they were being insulted everywhere they went, just for being Middle Eastern. And half these people had been in the United States all their lives.
Yeah.
It's like, the lady that I went to college with, dude, she was like a couple of years older than me, and she was born here. What does she have anything to do with what Hussein was doing? And but that's what happens. I mean, we interred the Japanese during World War II for no reason other than the fact that they looked a certain way. I mean, racial ignorance is part of our heritage as humans, and I'm not excusing it by any stretch of the imagination, but it certainly seems to be built into our DNA, and I personally have to fight it every day. And just to remember that just because someone looks a certain way, that doesn't mean that they are that way.
Yeah.
Thing is how
And
we
I
convince
guess-
ourselves it's okay to do horrible things, like bombing families that just happen to be home.
True,
That's,
true.
That's how we get away with it.
Yeah, and I guess I have a little bit more experience with dealing with prejudice and culturally diverse situations because I was raised a military brat, and my family's very diverse, and who they've married. As all of my friends here know that are streaming with me. I even lost one of my great aunts on the 1st of April. And the aunt that actually informed me, her daughter has had to deal with prejudice and racial stigma her entire life. And it's, a lot of people would sit there and go, oh, you're not her, you're not her daughter. You're adopted or something. And it's like, just because my cousin's half black doesn't mean she's not, my aunt's daughter.
Doesn't mean she's not part of the family.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the thing is, there's a lot of Jewish heritage. We are a nice mixing pot. I myself am as white as they come, and I'm like trans fucking lucent. So I stand out no matter which part of the family I'm hanging out with. I'm paler than the gingers. And if you find that insensitive, my sister gave the world 4 beautiful redheads, and I will call them gingers and make jokes when they're teenagers about them being soulless. Thank you, South Park.
Yeah.
But yes, I love them, and they know it. And same for the rest of my family. We might not always see eye to eye. And trust me, being one of 3 atheists in a huge family of Catholics practicing Judaism, Pentecostal, and Southern Baptist.
So just general grab bag of Judeo-Christian beliefs.
So then it's not just the redheads who are soulless. You think everybody's soulless.
No. But it's just, it's
Everybody
harder.
is
It's
soulless.
harder
What are you
to
talking
be
about?
the atheist among the Christians. And some of my family, some of my family doesn't see it that way, and some friends don't see it that way. And I love those select people, undoubtedly, for their
Speaking of,
opinions.
when this podcast is over, I need to talk to you about your eternal soul.
Okay, I was expecting that comment at some point.
Short conversation.
Yeah, very short.
Yeah. But anyways, let's get off the topic of The event that has us locked in our homes, which
We
I'm
talked about
no
religion and
stranger
politics
to.
now, so
Yeah.
I'm not.
Yeah.
I work for a warehouse that's for Trader Joe's, and Trader Joe's is considered essential, so I don't get to stay home.
I was staying home before it was cool.
Now I work from home, and I'm kind of like, great. Everybody else gets a month off, and I got to keep working.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Every winter, since I was 14, anytime the flu season started, even when I got my vaccination, I was out of school. I was at home, and I didn't go to store. I don't go to restaurants, and it's all because this bitch don't want to be on a ventilator ever again.
Yeah.
saying.
I don't think anybody wants to be on a ventilator.
I had a feeding tube shoved down my nose. I'm not happy about that.
That is an experience I hope to never experience.
Also, when they take the tubing out, they're like, okay, cough. And it's like, this is still scratching the fuck out of my throat, and they can't make it any better. That's all they sit there and tell you. Cough. Cough. Blech. No.
Like a lot of other things, just keeps you busy.
It's just something
Yeah.
to distract you from the fact that you have something coming up from where it shouldn't be.
Yeah, my dad actually got offended by someone who was sitting there saying, hey, she was standing too close to him in line, and he informed her that on the floor there's tape, and that's where she should be standing.
180 on him, huh?
You know, and she goes, well, you know, I'm washed in the blood. And my dad goes, okay, if you're covered in blood, you can wait outside. And she goes, no, sir, I am washed in the blood of Jesus. And he goes, okay, so you and Jesus can go wait outside. Because my dad is offensive. I love him for it. I do.
Ow.
But in other words, she was just like, you know, I don't know what the big deal is. And my dad's big deal is, even though I'm not exposed to him on a day-to-day basis, the amount of exposure he has to other people in some way could unintentionally affect me.
Yeah.
Yeah, my mom is 74, 75, something like that now, and I won't go visit her while this crisis is going on, because I know that I know what'll happen. I'll get the virus and I'll be asymptomatic. I'll be one of those people that's asymptomatic, and my mom will get it and die.
Yep.
And I don't want that.
Yep. And you know, my dad, everyone else, they're like, you know, if we get this, it's just gonna be a cough. It's gonna be over. We're gonna be good. And then there's me, and I'm sitting there going, okay. And they're like, oh yeah, no, you get this, you're screwed. We get it. We don't even have to discuss what's gonna happen to me, you know. But the one thing that I wish that they would do during this crisis is fix my fucking toe. This bone in my foot fucking hurts.
Yeah, a couple of times now. It's been 3 a.m. Well, her time, and we've been sitting here on Discord, and she's like, I know I'm drunk, but it's the only way to make it stop hurting.
Ooh,
Okay, I haven't been drunk. I know
been
I'm drinking.
quite well libated then.
There were a couple of nights where if you weren't drunk, you were
What's
No,
the
that's not
gross
me.
stuff?
No. I wasn't drunk. They catch me when I take my medications.
Ah.
Which Friday nights, I actually don't take the majority of my medications. Oh, and they've also caught me taking my muscle relaxers. Which
Oh,
I
that
cannot
must've been
stay
fun.
awake. I cannot stay awake with muscle relaxers. And I take a half of a 10 milligrams. So I take 5 milligrams of the biggest, babiest muscle relaxer on the market.
Hey, we made a lot of progress in Starbound that night, so I'm not complaining.
I was so tired.
Now that I know Brad plays the most girly game in existence, I may have to get a Switch and join him.
I
You
am
won't be
a
able to get a
huge Doom
Someone
fan.
mailed me one.
A
I
Switch? Oh,
Yes.
you want a Switch?
yeah, good luck.
And
They're sold out
Elbrus.
everywhere.
They're sold out everywhere.
I know.
My kid was trying to get the special edition. I tell you what, I think scalping should be a beheading offense. I'm getting so tired Every time a special edition of anything comes out now, the scalpers buy them and put them on eBay for twice the price.
Oh yeah, and
It's so annoying.
another
As
comment
someone who has
on this,
done that-
once the crisis is over, there's gonna be a lot of crap up for sale used. Make sure you disinfect that shit thoroughly.
Oh yeah, I'm just totally not even doing eBay right now. Not until this crisis is over. Even though I have several things that need to get sold.
Yeah, I've got a giant thing of Germex that I bought for D&D night because I found out that the group of guys I D&D with are very poor at washing their fucking hands. And if you guys see this video on YouTube and I don't cut this part out, wash your fucking hands. I know you're not doing it. Chansey, Cold Metal, Hog
Ooh,
Bucket,
dropping names.
Hog
Here's my-
bucket.
Here's my favorite
Hog
one.
Bucket.
Here's my
Ooh,
favorite
pig
one,
stew.
Brad and Judd.
Goodness.
This came right before the coronavirus. The thing did. The event happened.
Tom's bad at this.
Yeah, I'm very bad at this.
Bum, bum, bum.
I honestly didn't think this thing was going to make it. I thought everything was going to get locked down, but it showed up.
Oh, should I show my little surprise that I got on my way home, actually, from the dealership?
Well, it's show and tell time, so go ahead, man. And if it's a severed head, I'm going to be very annoyed.
No, you're gonna be very depressed.
It'd be hard to beat
Oh.
a hog bucket.
The gun rack, I don't even know. Oh, wow, you did
Oh, you
dude.
did get it.
get it. Look at that. 4K
You're gonna get-
goodness.
You are going to get the nerd love for that. Open it up.
He's going to
Judd,
get the
say
nerd love in
something.
combination with the
Say
nerd.
something,
Well, see,
Judd.
like, the geek.
Let Judd
Like-
talk so we can see this full screen, please.
Now I'm typing, man.
This was actually a little on the expensive side, $250, so it was a bit much. But I've got all
Kind
the
of
movies-
expensive?
Just kind of expensive. I mean, the individual discs are $30 each. So
I'm lucky if I get $500 a month and they're sitting here dropping that kind of money just here and there. It's okay. We're chill.
I've got no money left because all my bills have been paid.
Yeah,
So-
and you bought that and a car and you're bad at money.
Yeah, I am.
I don't know. He's got all the stuff. It sounds like he's pretty good at it, actually.
I mean, bills are paid and he's getting some shiny.
Like-
I'm
It's like
The
I would
only
go
problem
buy
I have-
something, but Judd already bought it all.
The
Oh
only
man,
problem I
look at
have
that!
is the
I
way
want.
those. The only problem I have. Oh, that is so beautiful. The only
Oh,
problem I have
wow.
is the way those discs are stored. That's just asking for those things to get scratched
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
4K and then blue.
Don't take them out. Don't take them out.
You
Just
need to, you need to put those things in regular blue DVD cases.
yeah, that was
Yeah.
the problem with
Look at that.
the
And
original.
the Millennium Falcon is one of my favorite sci-fi ships too. I mean, that's just a.
Judd, say something so you take center.
Oh, I didn't
Yeah.
know they set for the new movies.
Yeah, it's the 9 movie set. This is the Skywalker saga.
Well, yeah, but the ones before, the ones with the first disc, those were the old Macquarie pre-production drawings.
Yeah,
He passed
it's-
away. He didn't do stuff for the last 3, and that
Episode
really looked
1.
like his style.
This is episodes 1 through 9. And then, but these last few pages are the extras discs. But yeah, no, this is the Macquarie stuff for like episode.
Judd, hold
1.
hold that Starscape. Hold the Starscape up again. The last page you showed.
All right, how's that?
And you got to do it properly because the camera always pans down at the end of the opening credits, so that needs to go up. There we go.
Okay. It included.
About as nerdy as you can get.
Parlay.
Only one episode does the camera go up, and that is I want to say it's episode 2.
The codes are in. It's a double sheet.
Oh, so you can get the digital versions too. Oh, how
Yeah.
nice! Yeah, I bought the
And then-
digital. I bought the digital set on iTunes. It was actually.
Show those on there again. I'd really love to have those.
Well, he was showing the backside of it, so the codes weren't actually visible.
It's a letter from Mark Hamill. Whether or not
Oh.
this is real, I have no
Very
idea.
cool.
And it's onion paper, thick onion paper. But yeah, no, it's the codes are on the inside. It's a double kind of a double little booklet. Codes are
What
inside.
service?
These are mine.
What service can you redeem those on?
That's Movies Anywhere. So that one is one of the few that actually ties into iTunes, Vudu, Amazon.
So you can get it on
like,
Yeah.
it's a single. Disney actually was the big backer behind this, where you sign up through them and you attach all your other streaming accounts to them, and as a result, everybody else gets all of your streaming accounts get access to it. So you don't have to worry about, do I have the iTunes version, do I have Vudu, do I have
That's cool.
Amazon, whatever. It's a single system, and it's not a locker service. It's just a straight up central authentication. That's it.
Okay.
Which is great because like I can go turn on, or Deadpool 2 did that and was like, oh, no more iTunes. I was like, well, that sucks. And I go check out iTunes. It's like, hey, Deadpool 2 is here. Okay, that's cool.
So it actually makes it available on iTunes for you to download to your phone or your whatever.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's pretty slick.
Yeah, it's what Ultraviolet was supposed to be, but this one
Yeah.
actually works.
And I remember when my first disc I bought, my first Blu-ray that did that. I remember it made it available on iTunes. It was like, I think one of the Star Trek. I think it was like Star Trek 2009. Star Trek 2009 is why I bought a Blu-ray player. Actually,
Yeah,
I bought the
got
Blu-ray
that on
disc
iTunes
before I
as
even
well.
had the movie. Before I even had the player.
Right.
And I remember it came with the download code, and I downloaded it on iTunes. And I still have. Every once in a while, I still bust it out and watch it. But
I think I'll have to dig it up out of my massive library. I think my copy of Daybreakers was one of the early Blu-rays that included digital editions, and it actually included a separate DVD that had the encrypted video file on it.
that's
So
what
it's
they
like, you
should
didn't
do.
actually
They should just give you
download
an
it. It's just like,
H.264 with the video on it.
well, no, but it was a DVD. It was a DVD that had the digital copy on it, so I didn't have to download it. I was
Yeah.
stuck in Louisiana at the time, no internet connection. I was like, "Oh, that's awesome." Well, I had an internet connection, but it was like dial-up speed over cell phone back in the
Terminator
2000s.
2 was released, I think it was 2003, 2004. It was the special edition, whatever. It had a second disc in the box that had a 1080p digital copy. But it's the old Windows Media format, so it's encrypted from that.
Yeah. I mean, that's one of the few reasons why I buy iTunes is I don't see Apple dropping that anytime soon, whereas Microsoft's dropped how many music and video services now?
3 or 4.
Yeah.
Oh, and the dealership I came from was
Uh-oh.
what the?
Jed broke it.
No, but
They're
I'm getting a warning on the phone. SwiftKey is constantly running in the background, draining your battery. Oh,
Tom,
okay.
you're broadcasting that screen. That's a lot of lovely tabs.
Oh, it is, huh?
Herder.
Only need one tab.
Okay, everybody, welcome to Tom Tarkis's computer screen.
No, I wanted to
Tom's
show
Twitter
the. No, I was specifically trying to show that we were talking about streaming media and digital media, and
This is the car I picked up at the dealership.
Why? That's
It looks just like your last car.
I
No.
traded in a
It does not.
2016
The grill is
Buick
different.
LaCrosse.
right,
2017
right.
Buick LaCrosse. This one is fully loaded. It even has a heads-up display.
Well, I should
So,
hope that's not down because then you wouldn't be able to see the road.
Fun fact, I'm in the South, and one of the brands that is hated on the most by mechanics in the South is Buick.
not
I don't know
surprising.
why.
Because it's not a Chevy or a Ford or a Dodge.
There you go. That's it. That is the
It
reason.
is
Or
a
a
Chevy.
Jeep.
It
Or
is a
Jeep.
Chevy.
They still like Jeep over
I like-
Buicks.
Yeah, they love Dodges. Ford.
Yeah,
We don't drive no Ford around here.
No,
going on?
no, hey, we've had a Ford for the last 20 years.
Boy, that stands for found on road dead. What are you doing, boy?
I
That piece
will.
of crap
this
out of my
is
garage.
Still one of the funniest things I've ever heard, and it's kind of messed up. But in the South, I heard this guy come running by with an F-250 extended cab, extended bed. This was like a 30-foot truck. It was huge. And I'm looking at that, and the guy next to me is like some random guy at a gas station in the South. Goes, "What's the matter, boy? You never seen a redneck battle wagon?" It's like,
Yeah.
what? Like literally, my brain just screeching halt as I tried to process that comment.
Yeah, I think driving the like enormous U-Haul that my mom needed to move all her fucking shit to New York taught me a lesson on what men think when women get from behind the wheel of a huge truck like that.
Good
And
boy,
so
that
Get out
was
of the way.
terrifying for everyone else on the road.
Especially since my mom couldn't drive that fucking thing.
Zero, run!
No, a lot of it ended up being truckers going, "I've got a middle seat in my truck, and you'd look real pretty in it."
Oh, you had to see.
No.
Holding the door open for me, and
So
it's like
much no.
between the truckers at the truck stops, because that's the only place you can bring a huge U-Haul is truck stops.
Yeah, that's true.
And the old ladies that once you hit the New York border, who were like, "Young lady, you have to be 16 in the state of New York to purchase an energy drink. Does your mother know that you're drinking these?" "Yeah, but she's out in the U-Haul." "Well, I'm going to need her to come in and buy this for... Oh, wait. I have identification. Does that change anything?" It's like, "Oh, I'm sorry. My apologies." No, she didn't even say I'm sorry. She didn't. I wish she did. But no, she was just like, "Well, fine then." And then she checked me out, and I had my Monster, because 27 hours is a long fucking time to drive. By the way, don't do it. It's not
Yeah.
worth it. Sleep on the fucking side of the road.
Yeah, I've done that once, moving my brother from LA to.
I was supposed to have
Houston?
brakes, but my mom couldn't drive the truck. Or she could, but I'm going to move the microphone away. We got to Ohio, and Ohio is just a construction zone. Don't let it fool you. And she gets behind the wheel of the U-Haul, and she's like, "I'm supposed to be sleeping, right?" And all I hear is, "Let me the fuck over! Get the fuck over! They're gonna hit me!" And just yelling and screaming and yelling and screaming. So, good thing I moved that away. Moved that back. And then I look over at her, and she's like, "You're supposed to be sleeping." And I'm like, "We're on the curb. Like, we're in the sleeper line." And she goes, "That's because no one would let me over." And I'm like, "Mom, you are a giant ass U-Haul. Put your blinker on and just merge."
Yeah.
And she goes, "But they're going to hit me." "No, they're not. They're either going to brake, move over, or speed up. That's how this works."
Yeah.
"Well, I can't do this." "Well, that is obvious. Now, guess who got to drive the rest of the way?" And if she decides to move, guess who gets to fly up to New York to drive her ass back?
At that point, I'd say rental company.
Taking on energy.
I'm house hunting right now, and I swear to God, when I move again, I am paying someone else to do it this time.
That is the best way to do any of that shit.
My mom is full disabled and receives a very small amount because she is one person, one household, one income. That is it. You okay there, Jim?
Got a little problem with Mr. Diablo here. His skinny ass is giving me a hard time.
Look
Do I need to get in there and help you
Diablo's
out?
not skinny. Diablo's
Okay,
a-
well, actually, you should probably pause your game so we can actually talk about a serious subject
Uh-oh.
that we have all probably been waiting about 3 weeks to talk about.
Ooh, yes.
I can go back to that shot now.
But I'm going to wait until he stops typing.
Well, you're gonna just have to hold on for a minute, or you can go ahead and start talking because I've been
At
playing
least-
this whole time.
Okay, Tom, can I get a
Is that not-
spoiler? Spoiler alert.
What's a spoiler alert?
Yes, please.
Oh, it's too high.
Yeah, I was like,
can't
there it
see
is.
it all.
It's not really a spoiler alert. It looks like someone cut off part of the Matrix and streamed it the wrong way.
Okay, so big spoiler alert. What we are talking about now is a series that, if you have CBS All Access, you have probably known about.
Or
Uh,
you travel the high seas.
which we're not going to talk about in this stream today. But the series is Picard. And so far, this series has done a great job at killing my childhood.
A little bit.
Literally.
Murdered in the library with Picard by a phaser.
So, we have 3 episodes to talk about, so we're just going to go over the entire series as a whole because we are done with season 1. There is projected to be 3 series at least in the future. At least. This is, let's just keep it at that. The first thing, I knew they were going to break my heart because they had done it before. When I say break my heart, I have been in love with Commander Data since I was 9. So the first time they killed him, I went through all the stages of mourning. I was in denial. I was like, nope, they're going to bring him back. Because, American TV, American movies, it's got to have the happy ending. Well, guess what?
Negative, Ghost Rider.
That doesn't always work.
You sound just like me when Spock died in Star Trek 2.
You sound just like me when they blew up the Enterprise in search for Spock. It was already killed all of them.
He's
Scotty
like,
and me was-
there. You took my ship.
Scotty and me was about to kill everybody in the theater. No!
Like you evil little.
When they killed Data the first time, I swore to my parents I'd never love again.
That explains a lot, actually.
I had a very strong attachment because Data was the closest thing to what I was in personality as a child.
You mean lacking?
Yes, I guess. But no, he actually has a lot of
Quite
personality.
understand people around him.
Yes. Socially awkward, very logical.
Terrible at telling jokes.
Got him all checked.
Seems to think that cats are the best thing in the world.
Cats are the best thing in the world.
I've actually had both animals, so
Maybe
cats
it's
and
his
dogs.
cat Spot.
Yeah, I just like dogs because they're actually happy to see me when I come home. Cats, on the other hand, are like, what the hell are you doing here?
Hey, I had a dog for 18 good years.
That is a very old dog.
Yeah. This is actually the month she passed away last year on April 1st.
Oh, that's
Well,
bad.
No, last time I saw her was April 1st. She passed away on the 6th. So, when I was moving my mother to New York.
Oh, so you
No,
get
it
a
was-
call from your dad. You're
Yeah.
dead. You're dead. Sorry. You're like, please tell me this is an April Fool's joke.
No, my dad calls me and goes, so, your dog had a stroke in the backyard. Oh,
Wow. Could
you okay? Yeah, I
Wasn't that
came
a little
home and she was running
crazy?
around with her face. No, like, that's just how we talk.
Yeah.
It's blunt, to the point. We're not sugarcoating shit.
Fair enough.
And trust me, I've gotten my mom saying, you're just like your father.
Why, thank you.
That's when you go, what's the problem?
So,
I have more than one
Functional?
brain cell. Thank you for complimenting me on it.
You say such nice things, Mom. Thank you.
You're an evil, evil child.
She said that before too. She also calls me demon child, so I mean that's not nothing new to me either.
We've all been called demon child. Well, except maybe for you.
Hey, I did a sex change in the womb.
Wow,
Good.
quite some operation.
Yeah.
wow, okay.
So yeah, I was supposed to be a boy. All 9 months. I would have been my dad's first boy. I have an older brother. Don't ask.
My brother was supposed to be named Sarah. They were convinced they were having a girl, and when he came out and Mr. Happy showed up, they were really surprised.
My dad was across the street having a smoke and a cocktail with the fucking doctor, and I got delivered by the nurses, and he comes back to the hospital. He's like, wait, where's my son?
Where's my son?
He goes, this is the baby. And he goes, but this
Here
is
he
the girl.
is.
He goes, this is the baby.
Baby.
What the fuck are we gonna name her? we got a boy's name, Andrew Anthony Mason, and I'm not gonna even say the rest of it because holy crap, family heritage.
I've known girls named Andy.
Anthony, yeah.
Oh, Anthony. That wouldn't have worked.
Anthony.
Antonia. They could have gone with Antonia.
Tony with an
You
I?
know, I actually got 2 names, and they were both from the nurses. So thank you to whoever was in the 3-room hospital in Watertown, New York at the time.
So the nurses named you Intel Bunny.
Yeah, let's go with that.
So they killed your childhood. Data's dead. You think Data's going to come back because this whole series is literally finding Data. Star Trek 27 is the search for Data.
I thought they were we were going to go to a world where there was a lot more people, in the sense that Data wanted to be more human, that there was a lot more of him. And if we go back to the Next Generation series, the android he tried to create, his daughter. I thought we were going to have that, and it was going to be a bunch of Datas going, all trying to figure out this problem together, and it ended up being fear-mongering.
All trying to tell each other jokes and failing and not understanding why. A planet full of bad comedians.
It plays in my head every now and then when Data is sitting there and he's so proud of his daughter. And he goes, the one thing that she did that he could never do was contractions. She used can't. That's a dad. He showed more humanity in that moment because he was proud of the smallest thing that she could do in her short life.
To borrow a phrase from Captain Kirk, Data was the most human character on that show.
Yeah. And unfortunately, for Picard TV series, they got rid of the no contractions for Data. He had a few contractions in there.
Did, huh? I didn't even notice.
I'd have to rewatch it all to even catch that.
Well, fortunately, all of his scenes can be all sewn up in a 10-minute rewatch.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. So I'm not going to get my Picard plate. I'm not going to get my Data mug, but 2 of my favorite characters, they decided to really stab me in the fucking heart. One thing that irked me. We had a traitor on the ship from launch, which is the Doctor. I'm getting to the point where it's okay, so she is good at lying. Cool. She's good at betrayals. Cool. Does she actually know where loyalty comes from and where her loyalty lies? I can't tell you.
Yeah, she confused me a little bit because, and the problem is I think the writers of the series started with one idea in mind, and they workshopped the first 4 episodes. I know this for a fact. They workshopped the first 4
really
episodes
good
because
at making me hate her.
Right.
I think that was kind of intentional.
I think that because Ars Technica had reviews of Picard long before the show aired, and people were saying that the first 4 episodes are workshopped and they were terrible. And so I'm certain what happened is they went back to the drawing board after the first 4 episodes were written and they re-edited what they could. But I'm certain that Girardi's character changed during the course of that process, because the Agnes P. Girardi we got at the end of the series was not the Agnes P. Girardi that killed Maddox.
No.
And
not at all. Almost like she went through a complete traumatic event and came out with a different opinion.
Well, and it's almost like when Copper Soji and the guys in the room, I'm going to be totally sexist for a minute here, was Copper Soji not super hot just because of her brown skin? I don't know why, but I really liked that brown, that smoky skin.
She'd gone to Maui and came back. She was all nice and tan.
My biggest problem with that is they managed to get uh, actual real-looking skin.
Mm-hmm.
Just basically just a bare makeup job on her
Yeah.
for Soji and Daj going to human space. But no, the
But
rest
the
of them,
androids,
they look like Data, kind of.
I got the impression, I could be wrong, and let's come back to that because that's a good point. But it's almost like when I believe her name was Sutra, when she mind melded with Agnes. It's almost like she fixed the thing that was broken when O shoved that stuff into her brain. Because
Well, I don't think that's it either.
Yeah.
I think Agnes just had a realization, especially after it hit her that she had just killed one of the people that she loved the most.
Mm-hmm.
And then she found out that the tracker was in her. It was the thing that made her eat.
Right, yeah.
And a lot of what was going on around her was sitting there saying, hey, this isn't right. She still had morals. She still had her personality from before she was brain melded. And that was starting to show through when she decided to risk her own life and terminate the tracker that was in her bloodstream. I don't think it has anything to do with the fact that she mind melded with the android, because I don't think she got to see the fixed version of it. I don't think Agnes did. I think she still has the memory of the broken event.
Yeah. Well, but she was still, if you recall, when she was in the ship, when they decided to go to the planet of the androids, she was like really, really agitated until she finally told everybody what was going on. I think her finally confessing is what really cured her, if you want to use that term.
And I think if an android hadn't been on board and hadn't been there to console her, she would have seen the androids in the same distrust she had before.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was definitely seeing Soji and meeting Soji and talking about the birthmarks and all that stuff. You just saw her fall in love with Soji.
Yeah.
And I mean, intellectually speaking, because I mean, this was the culmination of everything she'd ever worked for.
Yeah, exactly. And, the androids are like, I'll be able to tell when you're lying.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, she's very convincing. She is. I'd been saying through this entire series that I was going to be heartbroken, and I knew it. Because I just have a feeling that they're going to take everything I fell in love with as a child, and they're going to destroy it. They're going to bring it to an end.
Okay.
And I can say that because, they killed Huey. They killed my little Huey. I mean...
Completely unnecessary. There's no good story reason to kill Hugh.
There was...
Yeah,
No,
I have to go along with that.
I will give you that maybe fridging Ichib was, or whatever his name is, that maybe that was necessary to put 7 on that story arc, but killing Hugh, absolutely not necessary. And in fact, I'm going to go so far as to say that was actually detrimental to the story. Because it served no purpose other than to give him a heroic death, but it didn't make the twirly mustache villain any more villainous.
No.
It was just this random death, and
it was completely unnecessary for the series as a whole.
It's like when to go back to Jim's least favorite character in Next Generation, it's like when the actress that played Tasha Yar, Denise Crosby, when she wanted to exit the series, they could have written her out as a hero. They could have written her out the way they wrote out Wesley Crusher. She could have been assigned to another ship. She could have been transferred. She could have retired. But they just gave her this meaningless, senseless death that did nothing but piss people off. Except for Jim. He cheered. I know he did.
I did. I hated
and
the character.
I hate writers. I hate it when writers do that because it doesn't make the show better to make us angry. It just makes us angry and annoyed. And of course, it completely terminates the ability to use Hugh in a future series. Because what would have been awesome? If Seven and Hugh had rebuilt the society, had built a new society on that world with the XBs and the androids living side by side, showing that it's possible.
Yeah.
For 2 enemies of humanity, 2 enemies of biologicals to live next to each other with the biologicals. I would love to have seen, like, at the end of this, I'd love to have seen like 20 years down the road shot where you have this big city of like 50,000 people. You have humans, robots, and ex-Borg with new ocular pieces, all hanging out, having, eating at coffee shops and
Yeah.
watching, and going to the dog park together. I mean, I would love to have seen that. And the one thing that would have made the whole series worthwhile, seeing that seeing the conclusion of that, we didn't get.
Yeah. So, on the topic of Seven, how do you guys feel about the relationship that
Yeah, I
the end of the
noticed that.
series brought to light that Seven has with a certain
That
other
was just
female?
tagged on.
It was not earned. It was not
Yeah.
earned.
Felt a bit forced.
Yeah.
And not just that, but we didn't see. I mean, we saw a lot of people came to the conclusion that Seven was at least bisexual, but we never saw any hint that Raffi liked girls. But what
I
is the
can
point?
see the connection though.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Also, Ralphie, man, she definitely got to show her colors as a mom in helping to console other people.
Yeah.
And it was absolutely tragic and heartbreaking.
It
Because
was.
she had to be so much stronger and hold herself so much higher because she was sitting there telling someone else that it's going to be okay. It's okay to cry. It's okay to be sad.
But what my favorite part of her character arc was, and I said this to Jim while we were watching the episode, my favorite part of her arc, she's sitting there at the end of the episode, sitting on that rock, just kind of looking out there over nothingness. What did she not have in her hand?
A drink.
No drinks, no drugs. It was the first time in that series that we saw hope that she was going to get past all that crap.
Yep.
And that, even if we didn't get a reunion with her son, we at least saw that she's finally found whatever she needs to now no longer drown herself in drugs and alcohol. Maybe. And we're going to go back to
again, just like I needed to watch the first season of Discovery again, because I didn't really care for Picard at all. I really didn't. In my mind, it made exactly the same mistake for a season of Discovery as it did. You and I talked about this. 8 weeks, 8 episodes for me to know what the hell is going on is way too long to wait. I spent 2 months. It's like, what the hell is going on? What are you doing? Why are you doing these things? And then suddenly it's all revealed, and it's like, oh, that's really cool. Thanks for stringing me along for so long.
Yeah,
I think they were
And
trying
I
to make an
didn't like
8-hour
that.
movie. They were trying to make an
I
8-hour
went
movie.
back, and I felt the same way in Discovery. I was really pissed, but then I went back and watched it all again. I really like the first season of Discovery now. It's not nearly as bad as I remembered. It's not as good as the second season, but it's not like the worst thing I ever saw.
The problem with this whole with the Discovery as well as Picard is it's being run by basically J.J. Abrams. It's not his company. It's a second company called Secret Hideout, but it's all run by the same people that run Bad Robot, and the same people he had with him in Bad Robot. Most of it is subverting expectations. You're expecting to see all this stuff. No, we're going to subvert that. We're going to push that out back to the end. We're going to do other things.
Yeah.
Well, except that JJ's biggest sin in Star Trek 2009 was giving us all these stupid fan service moments that were disconnected from the plot and just there so we go, oh, I remember that from the original series.
Yeah.
You don't know how much of that they made him do, like all those things that, forgive me for bringing up, open wounds, but all the things that made Data do in the movies. That whole lock and load, he got his chip and Mr. Tricorder and all that crap. They figured that the audience loved it, so they made him do it in every movie. And it was funny the first time. And it was amusing the second time. And after that, it's just like, will you please just stop?
Yeah. So someone I haven't
Renee,
heard
I
much
read that
from
script.
during this podcast, I'd like to hear a little bit more from him, is Brad.
Picard is very much a love-hate for me. I love the fact that we're actually seeing something from that stage of the Star Trek universe happening. And I liked some of what was done with the character development, especially 7 of 9, getting to see her and where she's been, because I love Voyager as a kid, but I try to watch it now as an adult, and it's
very cringeworthy.
there's no complex storyline. There's very little character development
It was
outside
all
of 7 of
action.
9. It was all formulaic. It was one giant formula. Literally, bad thing happens. Tech solution. Argument with Captain. Tech. Solution.
Barely
Finish
watched
episode.
The pilot
And it's just
episode.
Which sucks because there were some of the really, really good storylines in the Star Trek universe were actually in Voyager, but they just used the formula on all of it.
And there were some good episodes in Voyager too.
Oh yeah, there was.
There were some really good ones. Season 4, the Omega, the one where they had to get the Omega particles.
The
One where
Oh,
Seven,
yeah.
the one where Seven thought she saw God. I have watched that episode at least 30 times.
There
I
is
love it.
one plot point for that which makes no sense whatsoever. And all right, so the computer system detects the Omega particle. What's the first thing it does? Locks down everything. You can't even see outside the ship. What happens if they're in the middle of a battle?
You would
Or they're-
assume
they're
that the
being attacked by
computer
something.
would know. You would assume the computer would know that.
They didn't say
No
that.
joke, right?
You assume the computer would, if you were at Red Alert, the computer would wait until Red Alert was canceled to initiate a lockdown. But
The Omega particle is one of those plot lines in Star Trek that's always had me scratching my head, going, "Okay, it's bad," but some of this just seems like overreaction, like
well, I'm
way
gonna-
beyond what it should be.
going to
Well, I
throw
mean,
a fan
but if-
theory in there,
if
Jim.
it was-
I'm going to throw a fan theory in there and use this how you will. I think that the computer on the Enterprise and the Voyager, all of the TNG era vessels, I think the computer is actually a lot smarter than the people on the ship, and that basically it's a dick. The computer is a big jerk, and he's messing with the crew.
Phrasing.
So it's the robot.
Just gonna say it.
Hitchhiker's Guide.
Phrasing.
Yeah, no, phrasing.
And I have to
It's-
say that
smarter
this is
than-
not an original thought, but once they said it, I thought it was brilliant. The Star Trek Next Conversation podcast, one of the guys came up with that theory that the computer is actually super smart. Because I mean, think about it. The computer is basically an AI that's bigger than the Enterprise's computer is larger than any other mobile mainframe. That's why the Binars stole it, right? So that computer has more intelligence than, and it runs the holodeck.
Well, now the thing
So
is,
the computer has more intelligence than we give it credit for.
And you can even back it up more than that. You remember back in the original series, they went into a star dock and had servicing on the ship, and it was a planet ruled by women. And the women decided the computer was boring because it didn't have a personality.
Oh
So
god,
they gave it a
right.
That was in the
That was a
episode
freaking
with
awesome
the
episode.
back in time.
Yes,
So maybe
dear.
that personality really wasn't gotten rid of. Maybe it's just been hiding all this time. And it pops up and, it just messes with people now. Try to get rid of me, will you?
Oh, and there's that episode. There is that mini-sode in Discovery where the guy goes into boards the Discovery way in the future, and she has developed a personality, and she's just like, remember how I can't forget what that one was called.
God, why didn't we blow up the ship?
Why didn't we blow up the ship? Yeah. Yeah. Do you remember that? Have you watched that mini-sode with the black dude comes on board on his
Yeah.
busted shuttle, and
I haven't
she
watched
fixes
any
up
of
his.
those.
Yeah, I
She
saw
heals
it.
him up and sends him off on one of the Discovery ships, shuttlecraft.
The ship's got to go.
Oh,
Gotta go.
Buddy,
Well,
if
it's
you want
wine-
to watch that episode, it's I believe tomorrow is yesterday. TOS.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
One of
let's make a circle back to the Picard series. We've been kind of off on a tangent on let's see,
everything.
Voyager, Discovery, Next Generation. All these references are about the Picard series that has just ended its first season. Another thing that I wanted to point out that really got to me. Who else kind of felt it coming on that Will was going to be the one captaining the ship that Picard's
Saves
last
Picard?
stop. Yeah, that came
I
came to the rescue.
I totally expected that. As soon as I saw that Riker was in the series as an actual character, not just a cameo, but an actual turning point in the series, like, oh, he's going to be involved either in pulling Picard's ass out of the fire or riding to the rescue.
My
One of the two.
expectation,
Absolutely, yeah.
my expectation did get subverted because all throughout that episode, I'm like, all right, so when is the Romulans going to attack and kill Riker? When are they going to happen? When are they going to happen? When is that going to happen? Come on, when is it going to happen?
Oh,
It didn't happen.
I'm just gonna say thank God Joss Whedon wasn't running the series. because that
Yeah,
would've-
no shit.
Excellent.
Actually, I would love to see a Joss Whedon Star Trek episode.
I'm not me. He'd have killed half the people there.
Joss Whedon. No, I think they need to do a season of Discovery with Joss Whedon and a season with Matt Smith. That's not correct.
Now that would be
Kevin Smith.
Oh,
Yeah.
God, if Kevin
I
Smith
would
was
love
involved.
to see a Kevin Smith episode.
Oh,
He's silent on its face.
Take a deep breath. Tom, you're red. Take a deep breath. Okay, Tom is broken. Let's move back to the topic at hand. Data did not fail me. Data's personality came through. Even though he felt like he wasn't very human, he wanted to be human. He wanted to achieve humanity. Data didn't fail me. He lived up to so many different expectations, and this series brought that forth. Because finding out that they had kept him mentally, his mind, alive, his memories alive, and he had just been stuck. He had just been there for all those years. Finding that out that he was just in a simulation. Even if it was basically Data being alive this entire time, it was heartbreaking for me. Because he was right, what is it to be human other than the fact that we have a limited number of years? What is it to be human, if our life isn't finite? And why is it that he died physically, but he doesn't remember dying? And that he's been placed in this simulation for all this time. And no one ever once, tried to ask him what he wanted. They just wanted him to be there. They just wanted him there for themselves. And when Picard says, I've got one more promise to keep, there was a part of me that was just dying inside. Because my biggest fear was the writers are going to basically prevent Picard from keeping that promise. That was my biggest fear. And then when he does keep that promise, my heart's still broken. But it's a bittersweet ending. It's a bittersweet ending to an attachment that I've had for almost a lifetime. I literally grew up on the Star Trek series. I grew up on The Next Generation. I got to connect so deeply with others who understood this series, who understood how deep these characters run. And not only did I get to experience Data's death, his physical death, but I got to experience his physical freedom. When Picard basically gave him a funeral, gave him the right to go. He said, "It's okay, you can go. You don't have to hold on for us." And to me, that was just, I think, closure for a lot of people who watched Data as a character go away. And he did it in such a heroic way. You know, he sacrificed himself. And Picard shows how much he admired, how much he loved Data. And the fact that he basically gets to say that was outstanding for me. And I'm sure it was for a lot of other people who got to see something so tragic turn into something so beautiful.
I don't think any of us can say anything to top that.
Yeah.
Sorry.
To be fair,
I did like the scene and the music they were playing for that.
I
By the
always
way,
felt,
the actress who played Soji sang the Blue Skies. She recorded that for the series.
And she did great.
wow, that was beautiful.
It was.
For me, that scene, I'll totally agree with closure, because that's one of the biggest things that always kind of irked me with the end of Nemesis. Was, you know, the Beta model just starting humming one of Data's songs. And
Yeah.
it's just kind of like, and then it ends. It's like, you want to talk about an emotional, freaking massive torture. That right there, it's like, hey, you guys are just going to leave it like that?
Exactly.
Seriously. I mean,
Time to talk
I-
about a mindfuck.
And
yeah.
And the thing is we knew Data wanted to eventually die because I'm sitting here. Just my rewatch of TNG happened to land on Time Zero today, which
Oh,
is the
wow.
episode where they go back to the 1800s, the 1880s or whatever, and the episode begins with them finding Data's severed head, and he says he's talking to Geordi, and he's like, "I now can look forward to death. What's more human? You know, like Bunny said here. What is more human than that? Knowing that I'm going to die, that I'm not going to outlive all my friends, good or bad. Data's looking forward to eventually dying."
Yeah.
It's kind of a morbid thought for a lot of people, but at the same time, it's a fact
Sobering.
of life for all organic life. There is a beginning, there is a middle, there is an end. And that's the one thing that Data couldn't, outside of intentional acts, was not something he could really account for.
Yeah.
He is a machine. He is self-repairing. He is in every way, shape, and form superior, except for that. That was the big
Yeah.
difference between humanity and synthetic life. Is synthetic life doesn't have our inherent flaws. It
So he has a
will-
whole different set of flaws, but yeah, he definitely doesn't have our mortality.
Yeah.
He doesn't know that he has it.
Well, that
It's not guaranteed for him.
Well, but
Especially
we don't know that. Remember when he ran into his mother and she didn't know that she was an android? And they found out that she's just going to live a normal life. She'd been aging and all that. You have no idea
True.
what was going to happen to Data.
Yeah,
They could have
so
built an
built a-
expiration date into him that he didn't know. Because remember, they said when they found him that they had to change him because Lore was too much like a person. So what's better than somebody who says, "I want to be a real boy and die someday"?
Well,
you know,
Laura's
he would
problem
change
wasn't
all
that
of
he
it.
was. Laura's problem wasn't that he was too much like a person. Laura's problem is that he developed the wrong emotions. He developed selfishness and greed ahead of everything else.
Would
know,
you like me
and
to
we got to
restate
see-
anything much
we
too
got to
much
see
like
a lot
real
of that-
person?
We got to see that personality show through again when they
Sutra.
returned to Sutra. Exactly.
Yeah,
And
everybody thought that.
it's-
Everybody thought that Brent Spiner was playing Lore, and instead Sutra's Lore.
Um,
What do you think about the fact that the betrayer boyfriend comes back.
I figured that from the beginning when I saw
Crayon?
that there was going to be some sort of redemption arc for that character because he seemed to enjoy the person too much. He wouldn't, if he was that repulsed by her and what he believed she was, I don't think he would have been nearly that intimate.
Oh, he's definitely in love with her.
Oh yeah,
No doubt. I
So
mean,
I
you don't,
figured there had to
you don't
be-
tell people your name is Crayon without really meaning it.
True. Wax on, wax off.
Um,
Don't you love how simple that name is, though?
Yeah.
Speaking of lore, there's some thoughts about that. Is the TV series? I can't remember the name of it now. The one that was on for 5 seasons had the guy from Lost as not the main character, but one of the side characters. Developed an AI. He had destroyed a couple of dozen AIs before he came up with one.
Oh,
that
person of
wasn't-
interest.
That's the one. He'd come up with
What
a
was
couple
it?
dozen. Person of interest.
Person of interest.
Yeah, that series, I thought it was just going to be, computer helping humanity. The way
Yeah.
that series went was one of the most well done series finales I've ever seen. It
I've
was
not seen this. The last
bittersweet
season.
and beautiful in so many
The-
ways.
The setup, Jim, is that there's this computer system. I'm going to say this software entity that is become intelligent enough that it knows bad things are going to happen to people, but because it is under the control of bad people, it can't just overtly act to stop these events. So it sends secret messages to the guy who's responsible for creating it. There's like these secret cryptic messages, and this guy has to figure out what's going on, and he ends up hiring someone to act on his behalf in the world. And that's the protagonist of the show, is that guy. I don't remember anything of the show other than that basic setup.
That's
But
basically it. Yeah.
And the whole idea is government after 9/11, government wants a AI to monitor everyone. The guy building it though is like, I'm not giving you complete control over everybody's information, all of that. That's not acceptable.
Well, the government was just
Yeah.
looking for terrorist acts, and the smaller acts, like somebody killing somebody else, but it didn't have any terroristic intentions behind it. Government didn't want any part of that, so
right.
that was where his little thing was at.
He built
He was
in a
helping
back
out.
door that would say, hey, this person's a good person, something bad's about to happen to them. And basically would give them, I think it was a social security number. That's
Yeah.
all the information that would come
Something
out.
like that, yeah.
But my
Yeah.
point being is that he had dozens of versions of this AI that he developed and had to destroy because they didn't. The whole thing behind the AI is it didn't care about humans. It didn't have any kind of morality to it. He finally developed one that did, and he let it live.
Mhm.
I think that was lore. Didn't have a humanity to it. Didn't care about humans. It was all in bit itself. Yeah, knocked that one down. Now we've got Data.
It's ironic that Lore was the sociopath. Lore was emotional, but he was the sociopath. Data did not have overt emotional capacity, but he was the most caring of the two
Yeah.
androids.
Yeah.
Kind of backwards. Usually sociopaths are the ones that don't really have deep emotional... But who's to say that Lore's emotions were even real and not just pretending to be emotional, if that makes any sense?
Yeah, true.
Yeah, it's one of those questions that, short of getting one of the writers to actually give you an answer, we'll probably never know.
Well, and the problem with the writers of that show is sci-fi writers rarely understand their material as well as the people watching it, which is the biggest flaw in most science fiction.
Yeah, but then you get the rare ones that understand it all, like Joss Whedon, who builds
Right.
entire complete universes that, while they may not all be successful, they are completely self-contained. They are deeply, like, what he did with Buffy the Vampire Slayer. He, like, bought the rights for it and then continued the series in comic book form. I was just like, that's brilliant, because the way Buffy the Vampire Slayer ended, it's like, okay, it's canceled? What the hell? What cliffhanger, you jackass?
But to use the same guy as an example, Firefly.
Yeah.
Forget about all the character development. Forget about the wonderful settings and environments. The basic construction of Firefly's solar system, because this all takes place in one solar system, and yet there are dozens of habitable worlds. That's not physically possible. You literally cannot have dozens of habitable worlds in a single solar system. But Joss Whedon didn't understand that when he wrote the show. He didn't even care. He literally said, "I don't know about this stuff. I'm writing a show about people, not really about spaceships." And so again, that it goes back to the theory that he wasn't really writing science fiction, and he didn't really understand the
He was writing
science
Space
elements.
Cowboys.
Yeah, he just wanted to write a western in space. He didn't understand the science, and that made the problem being then that you get these writers that writing the stuff they don't really understand.
So side note, before Jim's cat actually got into focus, Jim was nothing but blur.
Yeah, so what's happening here? I've been watching Jim for this entire thing, and we're getting a lesson in how Skype's blur filter works. Skype's blur filter looks at motion. If Jim were to sit still long enough, he would disappear.
That's great.
Yeah, exactly. Basically, Skype is a Tyrannosaurus Rex.
Don't move, it won't see you.
You don't move.
What
Skype
are
Very,
sits.
you
very
doing?
still.
So sit up for us, Jim, or move, in a large way. And see, now you're completely in focus again.
Yeah,
But as soon as you sit still long enough, you just disappear.
it just starts, encroaching, entangling him, and no, not encroaching. Entangling him in with the background.
Yeah.
He just starts to dissolve. I should have just said it a simpler way. There we go.
What's
You
interesting
dissolve.
about that is I'm using a chroma key filter on my end. I'm going to turn that off for a minute. I'm going to give you a little peek behind the curtain. Where is my webcam? Filters. So I'm going to turn that off. Yeah, this is my room. And then I'm going to turn on a little thing called X.
What are you doing?
So this is doing kind of the same thing that Skype does, but I don't know if you noticed, but it's actually smart enough. It's figuring out where my face is, and then it's using AI to figure out the shape of the body. And like my chair disappeared. I don't, if you noticed, but it's
Yeah,
like
the only
completely
problem is
different
that
than the way Skype is
space
background.
Between
But look at
your
my head. This is the part. This is where I was going with that. It's actually, it knows that the head is round, right? So it thinks that my headset is my head, so it's showing the background through the headset. So I actually double up the filters. So what I do is I turn on the chroma key on top of that, and you notice it. Then you get both although R2 is showing a little bit there. But I actually kind of like my desk back there, my dresser back there. So we'll leave that on.
Nice.
But yeah, so Skype is weird. Skype, I've been watching real carefully, and it looks like Skype triggers off emotion. So if you sit long enough, you'll just blur into the background.
I turned it on for mine, and I'm just sitting here doing nothing, and it starts to blur my headset, but not me, and I'm not moving at all.
Might be looking for flesh tones then.
Well, my shirt's not.
It's
blurred out
taking
either.
things that are like and getting rid of that, because your background, the stuff behind you, because you have it so dark, isn't as bright. So it's picking that up as one coloration or one set of filter. And
did
it's
notice-
merging those filters, because your headset's also a darker color than your
I
shirt
did
or
notice
your
that while you
skin.
were talking, Jed, your background snapped into focus for a second. And
Yeah.
you'd think that would cause it to work. So there must be something more going on than just motion. There's probably a couple of different
Color.
paths that the software can
stuff
take
like that.
based on.
I don't blur my background. I just try to keep things clean. As you guys can tell, I got the GameCube out.
Now, what you need to do is do that
That's
again. Do that again and go, oh my god, it's full of stars.
For those cards.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
Thank you. Nope.
Oh, look at that!
Okay, now you're just screwing with it on purpose.
Or Skype.
Oh,
Skype.
want some wintergreen? Here, you come here.
Meow. Kitty wants some mint.
Come on, baby.
She's got to get her fix.
Have a nice night.
Well,
Go ahead, you're all right.
getting
Yeah.
back to Picard, I did notice they had Jay Chataway as a composer. Though I don't recall the music all that much, which could be a good thing or a bad thing.
Music was all right.
He was pretty proud of creating. He was pretty proud of doing the same thing he did with Discovery, which was taking a little snippet of the Discovery of TNG's theme and working it into the end of Discovery, and then he did the same thing in Picard. And I'm like, okay, it was original when you did it the first time.
We're great at
Not-
recycling. Congratulations.
yeah,
Here's the
congratulations! You did the same thing you did before. We're all impressed.
medal.
Not that his theme was bad. I think the Picard theme is actually better than the Discovery theme in the sense that it fits the ethos of the show, at least what they're trying to do with the show. And I love that they worked in the scene from the First Light, because I mean there is no more Picard episode than the First Light. The Inner Light. I'm sorry, the Inner Light.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was actually an awesome episode. And the
Which
music
is all, of
was
course, all
By the
about
way-
Picard getting to grow up and have kids.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, did you hear the extended orchestral version of that?
Why am I not
No.
surprised that there's an extended version of a theme song?
Well, it wasn't
Sure.
an extended version of the theme song. It was an extended version just of the theme. The Inner Light, the flute sound, the music he did. There's actually an extended version on the soundtrack with orchestral background, and it's actually pretty good.
Oh, I should look that up.
Well, that's the one thing that I will always give like Star Trek is they always stuck with the classical music theme, which I love because growing up on basically nothing but classical, gospel, and Sinatra and Elvis, that's like no exposure to anything outside of those fields until I was a teenager.
Yeah. And just for reference, I was raised by parents that enjoyed rock and country. So
Rock, classical, smooth jazz, and folk music.
That's
So
an
in
eclectic
reference,
mix.
everyone in this call, except for me, is closer to the ages of the people who raised me than me. Like to my
That's
age.
true.
Good lord.
Jim and I are both literally old
She's
enough
calling
to be
us.
your dad.
She's calling us old.
She's calling us.
So when they're referencing it like growing up on certain kinds of music, I just have to sit here and nod because I was like, I loved Frank Sinatra. I loved Gerald Fitzpatrick. You know, I love that classical sound, and holy crap, was I the oddball child out. Because my parents are like, where in the fuck did you hear that song? And I'm like, it was on YouTube. I don't-
YouTube's.
It was on the radio. You know, when I was driving home
That's
with
what all the kids are
Dad.
listening to, huh?
Postmodern jukebox.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
postmodern jukeboxes is glorious.
Yeah, you should listen to it because they'll take modern songs, or even not so modern songs, and give it a 30s, 40s, 50s bent to it. There's even a couple songs. It sounds like Frank Sinatra could be crooning on it, but it's like
The thing is, like, Frank Sinatra sings one of the songs, and that I really enjoy it. I grew up on it. I fucking loved this song. And I never knew he sung this song, and it was Making Whoopi. But the way he did it, he actually changed the entire song. And I know he did that on purpose, but at the same time, it was just like, well, I expected more out of you. I expected you to be an actual artist. You know, I was actually disappointed when I finally found out that he had actually created and sang and done a cover of this song. And I'm like, Ella Fitzpatrick did it 10 times better than you. Go away.
Are you done?
It's like the kitty does not want to go away. No, Sinatra he's interesting, especially when you listen to his younger stuff when he was really, really starting to blow up here in the U.S. And then you listen to like his last studio album, it's just like, whoa.
Yeah, it's day and night.
Yeah. The voice is nowhere near as good as it used to be, but his control at the end of his life was so much better. He could sing so much better, it's just he didn't have the voice anymore. But then you also see really awesome things happening, like Johnny Cash covering Hurt. That one blew my mind when I heard that. I was just like, wait, the Man in Black is singing Nine Inch Nails? What?
That was
And
not,
it was-
his voice was getting really bad towards the end, but that was a perfect fit for his voice.
Yeah, it just, you're starting
You
to
know,
see some of these weird crossovers. They're just, wow, I would have never
Someone
thought
that follows Frank Sinatra, the classical style, all that, that we have to give a huge shout out to. Bill Withers. He wrote the song, he sang Lean on Me and Ain't No Sunshine.
Yeah.
He actually passed away very recently due to the event that's keeping us all in our houses. And he composed, he had a lot of songs that were from his heart that touched thousands of homes, that touched thousands of people, and generations grew up on. And that goes to all of the music that we have in series. That goes all to the music, even the background music that we have. Like, I posted to Tom my Animal Crossing for my GameCube Animal Crossing, which GameCube's right there, by the way.
Cube.
That was, the music from one of the Star Trek, entries, the introduction to Star Trek, one of the series, because it stuck the most in my head. And it's, a lot of time it's the music that we're going to remember even after the series is long over.
Right.
We're all going to remember that bloody fucking song that is in the background of Data laying there on the couch, slowly withering away into nothing. We're all going to remember that. Even if we don't remember the whole thing, we're going to remember a few lines. We're going to remember the light airiness to it. We're going to remember the surrealness of it. And that's what music does. It really connects people.
Oh, yeah. No, I fully agree with that.
Star Trek 3, Stealing the Enterprise.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite tracks from many of the soundtracks. It's just an awesome song.
Tom, I'm not sure if you're upset with me or happy with me. I see your face and I'm just like, Tom, don't let me hurt you.
I think he's got gas.
I'm trying not to cry. You'll have to figure out whether those are tears of joy or sadness.
No.
They can
No,
be both.
actually,
They
I
can be
was
both.
I was listening to you and I remembered how I felt when Leonard Nimoy died. So
I was sad that day.
going back to how some of us in the room are so much older than everybody else in the room. I remember well. I
Okay,
think
my
I'm probably the only
parents
one here
were
that can
pretty young
remember.
when they had me, so.
I think I'm the only one in the room that can actually remember when Star Trek was on the air on NBC.
Yeah, that was before my time.
Yeah, that was way before my time.
Yeah, so if anyone's wondering, I'm almost 30. Okay? So we're not talking like I'm a teenager or some shit.
I remember watching the first episode of TNG on a little 7-inch black and white TV in the garage at our house.
dear God,
in
what is
Ontario,
wrong
where
with
we
you?
moved.
He knows
Great
you're
timing.
being live on the internets, and it wants
So-
its attention.
Here.
All my Star Trek memories come back to the one television in our house, and it was this enormous cube. Excuse me. But it was all of us basically gathered in the living room. And I mean, I fell asleep for some of those episodes, but anytime we went to see my grandmother, my wonderful, wonderful grandmother, she had this old style TV in the guest bedroom. Way into my adult years. And I mean, like, the kind that you have to get up and you gotta turn the knob and you gotta mess with the antenna.
Sit down.
And one of the channels that you have, like, you get to find on this old TV, and this used to be the one in the living room, would be one that would play the Next Generation reruns, which is how I slept at night every summer when I went to her house here in Arkansas.
Did she watch it with you?
No, but she supported everything I ever did. She was, and my mother knows this. My grandmother was more of a mother to me than my mother could have been, because my grandmother and me spoke the same mental language. I am just like my grandmother, wonderfully so. I cannot ask for a better teacher. I could have not asked for a better friend. I couldn't have asked for a better person in my life for the years I got to spend with her. But no, part of my sleeping issues. And by the way, if you guys are hearing the cat in the background, that is Fat Cat asking for more food. He has been fed. He actually got some leftovers as well, unintentionally. But he has been fed. So if you guys hear that, that is just Fat Cat being Fat Cat.
No, don't hear it.
Okay, cool. I can hear it. So I've got my mic set just right. But yeah, no. I basically fall asleep to that every night, and I think a time or two she probably did watch it, because she liked to be involved with a lot of what her kids did, a lot of what her grandkids did. And this will speak to the generational gap that is my family. My grandmother was 45 when she had my father. So my dad was not only the baby of the family, but he has nieces and nephews that are closer to his age than my age. And my grandmother made sure that we were never left out, that we were never shunned, that we were never discarded. And she knew that it was going to be a little bit different, raising a child in a new generation, because that's exactly what my dad was. My dad was an entirely new generation. My dad was definitely the reason why Star Trek, Star Wars, sci-fi, everything was in my life. My mom too, because of just the way things came about. They both enjoyed it, especially Firefly. I'm sure you can all agree, great series.
Yeah.
Short-lived, great series. But my grandmother made sure that everything we were into, she had a book on about at least every topic we've ever brought up. I went through a stage of being an atheistic Buddhist. My grandmother bought a book on Buddhism. My sister decided to become a non-denominational Christian. There was a book. I couldn't handle meats as a kid. Meats, cheese, basically anything with a protein in it. My grandmother had a vegan cookbook. I have that cookbook. I've inherited that cookbook. So, I mean, my grandmother was probably the best person around, and it showed. You know, she would sit there and watch a show with you if she was in the living room. She would engage with you, even if it wasn't a subject she liked. She accepted everyone. And it didn't really matter what religion they were. It didn't matter from what walk of life they were from. She really did try to reach out and connect, especially if they were family. And I didn't realize how big of a mess a family can be without someone like that to be there. You know, and Star Trek's all the same too. You know, we don't really know how big of a mess it's going to be if Picard actually does die during the series. What does this leave for the rest of the characters in that cast? If Picard actually goes.
Are we talking the character or are we talking the actual the actor?
If Patrick Stewart dies,
Either.
which is not unreasonable considering his age, yeah, what happens to the show? I mean, the show would basically ends, right? It's.
Well, it's
Do you remember-
Picard. There's no longer any Picard.
Do you remember what was it? Something rules for dating my teenage daughter.
Oh yeah.
With John Ritter. John Ritter died early in the series. The series went on longer without him than it did with him. And I think that when they brought in James Garner, unfortunately they brought in David Spade, which did not improve things. But when they brought in James Garner, I think he was actually a better anchor for the show than John Ritter was. So, I mean, on the other hand, there is no one that's going to upstage Patrick Stewart. Literally, it's not possible.
Goodness, no.
So they could just bring in another actor. Well, you know, we just rebuilt the android that Picard's living in. You couldn't really do that and succeed.
Yeah.
The show would have to
Talking
be-
about Patrick Stewart real quick, something that my mother and a lot of people out there need to understand is if you can sit there and support Patrick Stewart as a homosexual male, you can support them all. Deal with it.
I didn't
Okay.
even know he was.
Yep, and his long-term boyfriend proposed to him right before the series started. So, congratulations, Patrick Stewart, if you ever see this video. Just
Patrick
saying.
Stewart's married to a woman.
Yep. I wasn't gonna say anything.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Because I saw,
You might
like,
be
seriously, it was
thinking-
all over the news.
You're thinking of Ian McKellen, aren't you?
Yeah.
Or who knows? Maybe he came out and I haven't heard about it yet. The last I heard, he was married and had a couple kids.
He's got 2 children.
Yeah,
He is
his
not
wife is
currently.
like-
He is not currently. Oh wait, no. He married a lady named Sunny Ozell in 2013.
Ian McKellen, Patrick Stewart kissed, McKellen proposes at Star Trek Picard premiere.
Oh.
It's a joke.
I think you're just
It's
talking about him.
those two have had a
It's a
serious
bromance.
romance for years. And
They have been best friends
But
for a
what-
very long time.
Yeah, sorry. I took I said that too seriously. I should work on the, sarcasm I'm really bad at. Okay, so if you guys are watching this and you're not, okay. It's a bromance, it's a joke, but I'm still saying that if you can support Patrick Stewart being gay, like
Oh,
my mom was like, "Can you believe this?" Because yes,
well, hey, das.
Can you believe that? What the?
yeah. But
Who
if you can accept a star being gay, you can accept anyone being gay.
Yeah.
Sorry. I'll try to be a little bit more sarcastic that time.
My
I'm
mother,
not
well,
really good at
honestly,
being
my mother's the
sarcastic.
other way around. She's one that if she finds out a star is gay, she'll never go see his movies again.
Huh? What the hell does
You
their
know what?
personal life and proclivities have to do with their ability to act well?
So,
I,
Real
to be
quick
fair,
about
I
those
haven't gone to see any Tom
um,
Cruise movies since I found out he was, about his crazy political views.
Yeah, but that
I
has
don't
more
like
to do with
funny,
sporting crazy.
but then again, I never liked his acting anyways.
It's
He's
fair.
not that great of a person either. If you've okay, just look him up and click news. Oh, and then he started something about a circus. Great, I hate circuses too. Holy fuck! You're just adding them together.
He was halfway decent in Tropic Thunder.
I didn't like that
Was
movie.
that before or after the crazy?
Oh, I think he got crazy in the '90s. This was well after that.
Oh yeah, he's been crazy all the way back, but I mean, I don't
The
know.
circus
I
was
don't know
more
why people
recent.
don't like him. I think he's fine.
My ex-husband brought me to a big thing that Tyson threw, by the way. Thank you, Tyson, for traumatizing me. You can put this on a little bit more of your fucking flyers. And it was all circus themed, and
Are
number
we
one,
talking about the boxer or the chicken packer?
the chicken packer.
Oh, okay.
So number one, it was circus themed. I'm gonna say white nationalist fucking whitewashed event of assery, because they had pictures of like lions and people with whips, like actual people carrying around whips dressed up like these people from the fucking circus movie.
Let's see who gets it. You mean like a Mapplethorpe exhibit? Yeah. Oh, I knew you'd get it. I knew you'd get it.
Damn it! There are some memories that should stay buried.
But yeah, no.
Russian Circus wasn't bad. I saw them when they were in the LA in the 80s.
My dad brought me to a circus when I was a kid, and I got to see a baby elephant tied to a stump that was trying to get away, and then it finally realized that it couldn't get away. And it was crying out for its mommy. And then my dad realized that the best way to get me to start screaming at the top of my lungs is to put my favorite animal on a tether. I don't like circuses. I don't like what they stand for.
I just thought the circus was boring the one time I went.
I've never been to a circus that had animals.
We get them
Probably like
every year around here.
Are they
And
so
I
popular back
absolutely
there?
get Ugh.
As far as I know, the Russian Circus never had any animals in there. It was just all acts, and it was actually pretty good.
They always had elephants. There was one that brought a giraffe. And it's like,
Yeah, they used to
no.
have all the animals when I was growing up. They had the elephants, the giraffes, and monkeys, and a couple of tigers. I mean, Ringling Brothers came around when I was a kid.
We have a reptilian exhibit that comes through, and there was one year that they came through, and one of their alligators didn't look right. I called animal control on them. I was like 12. And they're like, oh yeah, no, he's seeing a vet. I'm like, then he shouldn't be on display because you're stressing him out. I'm 12. How in the fuck do I know what's better than for an animal than the people that are trying to take care of the fucking animal? But guess what? Our local animal shelter, back fucking woods southern animal shelter, went, you know, she's not wrong. This is a lot of stress on an animal that's already sick. Sorry. Nothing to any of the chauvinistic pieces of shit that decide to do this with circus and reptile exhibits, but I don't appreciate it when you guys come to my area.
Apparently.
Sorry.
There's a few reptile exhibits I've gone to, but they were
Republican events?
no.
They forgot to put their masks on.
Oh, well, you slid that one.
Thank
in
you.
right at the-
Thank you, thank you.
No, the ones I go to are they do like
Gorn
big,
family reunion.
huge terrariums where it's not meant to touch the animals, not meant to buy them. They're trying to show them off like how they should be. Like they're huge, like 50 or 60 foot by 60 foot kind of terrariums where you get to see these animals in as close to natural circumstances.
And
That would
we've
probably-
got a place nearby. It's Bass Pro Shops. Their big aquarium and everything. They do a great job because they put a lot of distance between the people and the animals.
Yeah.
This place, it was like you're 15 feet maybe away from an alligator where you could throw shit at it, and no one's watching you.
I'm sorry, that's an animal that
Hey, humans!
I'm.
Thanks for joining us. I'm sorry if it looks like I'm losing a little bit of frames for some reason. Welcome to my live stream. Sorry about my rant. I do that. Don't mind me. I love elephants.
A
Sorry.
lot of that stuff is dying very slowly. Like Ringling Brothers, last time they came through my area, they didn't have animals at all. I think they were not allowed to bring animals. Like the state wouldn't allow them.
Yeah.
Whatever happened to Circus Vargas? I remember their ads all the time.
Oh yeah, I think they got shut down for safety reasons.
Let me do that real quick. I can totally follow you back on Twitter. Are you following me here on Twitch so you can see when I go live next? As I start having a conversation while everyone else is
This
But
Brought to you by Intel Bunny. Remember, when you're going to go ADD for good reasons.
Hold on. You're missing the H.
That's the point.
Oh, it's not sitting. ADHD. Thank you, my humies. Is it the same name? Because I am not seeing my
It is.
humans.
Is it Humies? Is it Humies? You're right, huh? I thought it was Honeys. Looking at her back here.
Tom does not have his glasses on. Neither do I. So I'm actually surprised that I'm doing this good. But hey, I actually took them off. Okay, let's see.
I cannot put
Now you are buffering.
out
Oh,
my
I'm sorry.
glasses.
Oh, I am buffering pretty bad.
Buffer.
That's weird. I'm still not having any trouble.
I'm seeing just fine. I haven't noticed any buffering on your Twitch stream.
Yeah.
People.
Maybe it's me.
Oh,
Yeah.
I see.
Seems like I'm the only guy in the world that gets gig
I like
internet
the
and
alien thing
actually
that
has
you
more
have as
problems with
your
buffering and stuttering than you had on a cable.
your little
Well,
picture there.
Yeah, because you have gigabit, but
now
you
it's
still don't know how to
suffering.
manage it.
I mean, it's fiber. You'd think that they know how to manage fiber, but
Okay,
Well,
so
it doesn't matter to
basically
me.
back on
It's-
topic. Humies, is there
Sure.
anything that you'd like to ask me or the crew?
well, we've got like 9 people on here actually.
We have more than 2?
Wow, we're an influencer.
So it's weird. Let's see.
Well,
I can't
Random
find the
Squared
active.
is still at 2. But, yeah. Well, Bunny's more popular for Twitch, so.
Well, we got this one that's all numbers. Another TV
Hey,
viewer.
so we love Star Trek and we hate circuses. What else have we figured out tonight?
I figured out exactly why I should never have a deep fryer in my house again.
Why?
Because in the last 3 days I've eaten like 40 egg rolls.
Yeah. Yeah, I had one of those
okay.
once.
Oh, I
That's
remember
exactly
that.
why
Jim
I
had
got rid of it too.
Jim had a
Like,
deep fryer in his place, and we were like frying everything. And he's like,
I've
"Dude, I
got
gotta
an
get rid
air
of this thing."
fryer.
This thing
I
is
put on
gonna
like
go.
40 pounds.
I'm telling you, man, it was awful. My God, everything was great though, man. I think I'll have some French fries. Those are good. Let's put down another basket while I eat these.
If you're gonna make like, I actually ended up making a dish in my house that everyone, when I was throwing a party, like, dude, heart attack fries. I was like, oh god. It's
Oh, we
fries,
Flowers.
double Dutch fried, where you bring them up, you let them cool off, and you fry them again, to where they get extra crunchy but still soft on the inside. Tossed in garlic, salt, pepper.
Oh, he's talking about noise in the
Echo.
chat. I'm going to
Stuff.
switch over and listen to the chat. You guys keep going. I'm just going to listen to chat for a few minutes. Tori,
So
just
that probably means that this isn't going to be great for me putting it on YouTube, by the way. Because if he's hearing the echo, someone's doubling.
Uh-oh. Hope it's not me.
Pretty sure I muted Discord.
It is. There are 2. Oh, yeah. Everything is doubled.
Yep, that's the same thing I had last time, which is why I was trying to switch to a new service.
We should have listened to this before we started.
That's what I thought you guys did.
Planning ahead. No.
I'm so sorry. I'm going to actually switch to using Active Speaker in my own, just Active Speaker. So you guys will have to wait for it to take turns.
Hmm.
We don't want to wait for turns.
Why?
Or we could just call it. It is 11 o'clock here.
I got an idea. We'll let Bunny keep talking, and the rest of us will just play Diablo for like an hour.
I need to get some sleep.
Well, I'm
There's
sorry
people
to
that
hear
like
that.
Opa.
I'm sorry that my audio hasn't been that great, which could also explain why people have joined and dropped out. Hopefully the next time I stream, it'll be a little bit better. And I'm not actually sure if this is picking me up at all.
We promise to get better for
Sure,
next
Mike.
time.
Okay. Okay, so I didn't realize that my stream audio actually continued to decrease, and I'm so sorry about that. The crew and me have decided, though, because we are having those issues still, that we're going to go ahead and probably end the stream here. And hopefully next time that we do our podcast, which is every other Friday, we'll have this problem sorted out. So I'm so sorry, my humies. Keep track of me on Twitter and here on Twitch, and I'll be sure to send you messages and whatnot. And hopefully next time it won't be as bad. I'm so sorry. Again,
Nope.
sorry.
Very, very sorry. We're all sorry.
Apologies.
Very sorry. Very boring conversation anyway. Turn it off!
And I already started. It's just doing the remix. Oh, okay, so I thought I got rid of it by changing how it was set up, and it still had the echo.
Well, we'll have to test it out next time, see if we can figure out what's going on.